What is going on, guys? Ben Forsaken here. I'm going to try to bring you guys a ban list prediction video slash what I'd like to see come back slash get hit to allow some of the other, potential meta decks to kind of rise. So hopefully Konami does this right. Maybe your opinion's different than mine. That's okay. But let's get into it. I'm going to start off with Crystron, Needle Fiber, or Hulk, as I think the TCG knows it. I want this card gone. This card is it's caused so many problems. Where'd I get started? For one, it just opens up to quick syncing during your opponent's turn. We've seen how that turned out with Calamity. It allows multiple decks to make an access code talker. Super simple. Thank God we're not dealing with the Auroradon combo anymore. But still, this card needs to go. It's too generic, too easy to make. Hopefully it gets banned. That's my opinion. Artifact Dagda, again, this card really needs to go. It's just not very healthy for the game. It shuts off, special summoning from the extra deck, which almost every deck needs to do. Sure, you could always argue, play a deck that doesn't need the extra deck. Well, that's kind of no fun for me. I enjoy the extra deck. So, I'd like to see Dagda go. If not Dagda, Lance. One of them has to go. Fusion Destiny, I'd like to see it go to unlimited, just because Verte got hit, so it's not as easy to make in any rogue deck you would see it in, because it was in every rogue deck, tier 2 deck. Verte, even meta, Verte was in everything, let's just say that. But I'd like to see it back at 3, so we can still play DPE. It's a great card. Some say it's not a fair card, but it's pretty easy to out. You shotgun and Imperm, they either one have to pop, 2 of their own cards to make sure it's coming back on standby, or they just let it get negated. But hopefully it comes back to 3. Branded Fusion, I want to see get limited. Just because, that card's... It's just a problem. Konami needs to calm down with all these broken Fusion cards that send from deck. And then they could easily just send, I think it's Albion, is it? To the graveyard, and then either set it to the field, add it to hand. It's just a really problem card right now, and I'd like to see it not hit, because the Albaz, they kind of need the card, but I want to see it at least a 1, so they can't just continually abuse it. Fire Formation Tinky, I think Tinky should probably stay at 2. 3, I could see it going to 3. It should definitely be semi-limited though. I could see it going to 3, just because Tri-Brigades, they're not really doing too much right now. A lot of you guys would say, well, give me Reinforcement of the Army back to 3. That's a whole nother monster right there. We don't need that in our lives. Water Enchantress. This card, it's got to be limited. It's too easy to dump from hand, banish from hand, and then you've got the whole Brave system at your fingertips. It's just too easy to get to. Really want to see it go at least a 1, if not ban it, You ban this card, hey, whatever, I'm happy too. But I could see it going to 1 at least. I could live with 1. Punk Amon or whatever I think it needs to be limited as well, because it's the same thing as Enchantress. It's just a really good 1-card starter, and less chances to see it, the better. Because then it just makes it it slows the deck down a little bit, makes it a little more fair, because, guys, come on, Punk right now, Punk Therion, Punk anything really is just killing the metagame right now. Same with, like, Despia, Albaz, they're running like 5 engines in the deck. They can throw Eldritch in the deck and still play consistently, have full combos. It isn't right, well, I wouldn't say it isn't right. Yu-Gi-Oh! It is what it is, and the game's going to keep evolving in the way it has been, and we do have to adapt to that. But I feel Konami really needs to check some of these one-star starter cards, 1-combo starters. It just isn't healthy for the game. Aluber, I'd like to see Aluber go semi-limited, or limited. Either one I'd be happy with. They still have Kit, I know, to search all the stuff, but at least they have to dump a card from hand to use Kit. I'm going to go with limited, actually, yeah. Because this card is insane. It has a negation effect in Grave. And then it's special summoning again, which, if I remember right, it's allowing you to search again. It's just insane. You know, enough's enough with stuff like that. Let's slow them down a bit. The deck is just insane right now. Pot of Desires, I'd be okay with it coming back to 3. It's really not that crazy at 3. I mean, I really didn't see this card being a problem. Back when Tri Brigades were really popping off, that's when they should have hit Pot of Desires, because they could run 3 Tinky, 3 Pot, and that whole deck's basically a 1-card starter. But right now, as like Tri Brigades are, Pot of Desires would be fair back to 3. Now this card, Eldritch Elixir, this card needs to be limited, if not banned. It just gives them so much recursion. During the end phase, they banish it, restart the whole thing again. Again, it's just a card. They have so many searchers. Why do they need endless recursion? All the trap cards do it. It's just insane. So Dimension Shifter. I want to see Dimension Shifter banned because Flunderees. Enough said, guys. Flunderees are freaking insane. That deck. They just play during your turn. It's like Babel back in the Orcus days. Like, you don't get a turn. You will not get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! They'll just shotgun the Dimension Shifter. Your Grave combos are now dead. Their entire decks they just win. Red Reboot. I want Red Reboot to come to 2, just because of how like trap oriented the game is becoming. I know you guys probably disagree with that, but there's a lot of broken trap cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. Take Marincess for example. Their wave, they can just use not a once return, just drop it from hand. I believe Lyrilisks had a card similar to that, and when you got trap cards like that out here, it's just extremely toxic. So it kind of bring back a little bit of way to combat cards like that, you know, because we really don't have much to combat it. You could argue and say put Solemn Judgment in your deck. There is other cards, of course, but we just need Red Reboot back because you could shotgun it from hand if your opponent just tries to shotgun Metaverse to put you under Mystic freaking Mind. So I couldn't find Mystic Mind to throw on the list, but I definitely want Mystic Mind banned. It's time for that card to go. You know, it's controversial at my card shop. Well, not my card shop, but the card shop I play at. People say it's an equalizer, but is it really when the meta starts to pick it up? Is it really an equalizer then? No, it's nonsense garbage. It should just go. Like, I've played Mystic Mind. Don't get me wrong. I have played Mystic Mind, and it's just time for the card to go. Called by the Grave. I would love to see Called by the Grave come to 2. Just because all the hand traps we got right now. Hand traps are kind of out of control. I have nothing against hand traps. They're definitely a necessity in this game. If you don't have them and your opponent just gets to play uninterrupted, then you just never have a chance to win. Whoever goes first wins without hand traps. Am I right? I mean, but I would love to see Called by come back to 2 just to stop some of these more grave-oriented decks, slow them down a bit, slow some of the hand traps down a bit. Sure, you could argue it's not really helping you with Imperm, Nibiru, cards like that. I mean, we do have Crossout Designator, but I would still love to see Called by the Grave come back to 2. So this is my thoughts on the ban list, guys. You know, of course, not everybody's going to agree. Not everybody's, going to like the choices I made with the cards that I did make. But it's just like a / prediction list / what I would like to see happen. You know, it's probably never going to happen. Konami likes to sell cards, guys, and at the end of the day, meta is expensive, so they're going to try to keep meta alive. I mean, you guys remember back when Nekroz got slaughtered on the ban list? I think that was the last time Konami really cared about, like, stopping an unstoppable deck, per se. Which I'm not saying any of these decks are unstoppable. I'm just saying just try to stop them. Okay, they play 5 engines in the deck. You know, Despia, Albaz, Brave, Therion. I've ran into that I don't know how many freaking times. I don't even know how it works, but it does. I've ran into Despia, Albaz, Eldritch, Dogmatica. Like, what? Why are we having to fight 5 different engines in one Yu-Gi-Oh deck now? You spend all your resources to stop one, and then they just play another and then go full combo with it, and then you still can't play the game because they'll either end on a Dagda or some kind of baloney. it just isn't fun right now. My card shop's actually having, not my card shop, sorry, the one I play at is having a dilemma where people's not showing up besides the meta heads. Like, and I'm not saying that as disrespect. That's just what we all like to call them that. But yeah, nobody's really showing up anymore. I went to the last tournament. 3 people showed up for the tournament. People's getting sick of it. The last one I actually played in, there was a 10-person show up. 8 out of the 10 people were main decking Mystic Mine. And that was when we started to see the downfall at the card shop. So, I mean, it's just sad to see the game go in this route, because new players are not going to want to play this game. I'm sorry. I've tried to introduce some friends to this game, and the moment, you know, they actually see what this game is, they're like, I mean, what's the fun? Like, you got to play for 10 minutes on your turn, and then you just negated and or just cut out my mechanic, so I couldn't even play. And then you said good game. That's not a good game. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just kind of toxic right now, but when isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Toxic? Even back in the Gear Gia days, back when that was meta, which it was a lot slower then, but I mean, like I said, meta's always going to be extremely controlling. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Let me know what you think. I know I can do better. I'm trying to do better on getting content out to you guys. Been busy with work. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, subscribe. Peace.